listening to the Storm Warning Show at BKS1Radio.com.
I want to welcome to the Storm Warning Show on BKS1 Radio some incredible people that have done an amazing job all throughout their career. Reggie and Gina Bythewood.
Yes.
Can we clap it up for them?
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Who's this, Reggie?
This is Reggie, and Gina's dialing in momentarily.
Okay.
How are you?
Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Brother, let me tell you, you've been a part of some amazing bodies of work.
Oh, yes.
Some amazing bodies of work. And this recent one, Shots Fired. And I wanted to wait till Gina got on the phone, but I cannot help it. It's like I watched the episode last night, and I'm doing catch up. I'm a binge watcher, so I like watch everything all together. And I was like, whoa, where they going with this?
Right.
Where they going with this? And they flipped it. They flipped what you normally see.
Right.
What everybody's talking about. And without getting too deep, because I'm quite sure I don't want to repeat myself when Gina gets on the line.
Yeah, I think what she's trying to do, because we didn't want to be on speaker on the radio and you know, do it right for your listeners, so she's trying to call in from another line, so hopefully you can take it that way. If not...
Oh, no, we appreciate that. We appreciate that.
Okay, cool. So,
yeah, no, that's cool. That's great. That's great. But, I mean, your credits go all the way back from Different World and beyond, and you was doing your acting thing, and I seen some little clips with you acting in it, and I was like,
nah, man, don't tell me that. We try to bury those.
He's not showing none of those.
But nah, man. I mean, just your growth.
Yeah.
And just the things you accomplished over the years, man. I mean, is definitely to be applauded. And one of the things too, I mean, a lot of people don't even know. I mean, not just actor, writer, producer, director, executive producer. Just tell me
it's really interesting because like the acting days really just informed me about becoming a writer and director.
Right.
And you know, because I was a teenager, I went to high school performing arts, and you know, did a lot of theater and you know, did some commercials and things like that, and you know, some TV stuff. And you know, anything comes up, the kids clown me, so I don't even go there. You know. But it was, you know, one of the things that I really bought into, like really early on. I formed a theater company with some friends, like fresh out of college, and he really had this real crazy, idealistic point of view that theater can change the world, and that we could create work that could change the world. And you know, one of the things that I found in the industry, you always have like battles and hurdles and stuff, but the hardest thing to maintain is your level of idealism. And this idea that, you know, if you have a cause bigger than yourself,
right,
it'll, you know, it can really just, you know, motivate you more as an artist, and as well, you know, just keep you in the game, keep you from, you know, dealing with hardships and stuff, because you feel like you have something to say, you have something to offer, and so, and I've just been very fortunate to be able to hold on to that level of idealism, and you know, being married, to, you know, to Gina has helped because she, you know, she has those same values.
Incredible. I mean, everybody knows, and I recently got married. When you have a partner that's just on the same level and your wavelengths just match, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Yeah. I think she's on the phone. I think she's on the line with us.
Well, it's officially welcome to the Storm Warning Show, BKS1 Radio. Gina Prince-Bythewood to the show. And I don't know where to start with the accolades from writer, director, producer, executive producer. If there's something I'm leaving out, please share with us. Mother, wife. I was just telling Reggie that I got a chance to really sit down and catch Shots Fired. What an incredible piece! What an amazing a body of work, and it's the flip side.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know where I'm about to go with this, I mean, it's like the flip side because I'm watching a lot of other things and different shows. I mean, and we see it on the news all the time, you know, with Trayvon Martin and just other cases like that. It's always the white officers, you know, being accused of some type of involvement with police brutality against African Americans. I just need you to tell our listening audience, and believe me, they sent in some questions when they knew you guys were going to be on the show tonight. They sent us some questions. What made you go this route with a black police officer
Right.
shooting Caucasian?
Well, you know, what's important to know is that initial shooting is the end to the story, but our Shots Fired is really about two deaths. The death of this young white man shot by a police officer, and we don't know why that happened, and a young black teen who was killed, and we don't know by who. So the show's really about those two mysteries. But I mean, our reasoning really went back to the Zimmerman trial, and what we just saw there, where it was mind-boggling and disheartening that you're hearing how Zimmerman is receiving checks from people all over the country for his legal fees. Yeah, sympathizers, people that see him as a victim and him as the one that needs our sympathies and help, as opposed to this young boy who was murdered and killed and unarmed, and it did not have to happen. But they were not, so many people in this country were not seeing that boy's humanity and not empathizing with him or empathizing with his family. Whereas for Reg and I, and for our family, and for so many of us, I mean, he almost felt like our own. Even President Obama said if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. So, you know, for us, it was about let's bring that audience in and let them understand what we feel, because things have to change, and people have become so desensitized of what they see on the news, and it's the same blueprint where immediately people side with law enforcement and start demonizing the victim, the true victim. So
yeah, we're going to just add there. You know, I mean, it felt like a lot of people got stuck, like they were stuck in this whole kind of political battle for themselves and could not see Trayvon as a human being. So he said, well, what if we unstick them? You know, what if we put them in our shoes, and you know, what if we put them in the shoes of Trayvon's mom? And so it was great, because as Gina said, we're dealing with two cases, but in this one particular case, we wanted to flip it and like let other people see it from another point of view. But along with that one case, there's other things that are very specific to, you know, the black experience and the kind of black experience between community and law enforcement that we needed to deal with as well. So therefore, you know, as Gina said, we have a case of Joey Campbell, a young some black kid who was killed, and Jesse Carr, who's a young white kid that was killed, and we examined both of those mysteries and Shots Fired. And we're also allowed to see, you know, the way both cases are handled in a different way.
Right.
Based on race.
Right. Let me ask you, what was it initially, and you can answer this any way you want to, that made a network like Fox greenlight this? Because, I mean, I think it's brilliant, and just the way you just explained it, it's such a brilliant twist on things. What do you think made them give you guys the green light?
Well, first of all, you know, I think it's also important to realize, and we're no defenders of any sort of studio or network or anything. But I think it's important to realize that Fox News has a different agenda than, you know, the Fox Entertainment side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Fox Entertainment side did Hidden Figures, years ago. On the network side, I did New York Undercover.
Right.
So, they do Empire. So I think that, they have a different agenda, and fortunately for us, what was really great is that we were really interested in, we were putting together a screenplay in this space, the space of law enforcement and community. And, as Gina mentioned, off of the Zimmerman trial, like our oldest kid was really affected by seeing the not guilty verdict come in. And he watched it with me, and when he saw it, he was, pretty, pretty emotional about it. And so we pulled open the laptop and had him watch an Emmett Till documentary instead of consoling him and saying it was going to be all right. And he really wrote something that you'll see actually in next week's hour of Shots Fired, which is this essay of like Emmett Till, Trayvon Martin going to heaven to meet Emmett Till.
Right.
Wow.
So in many ways he's the first person that wrote something about Shots Fired. But I think that it was just a really great opportunity because they wanted to do something in the space, and we wanted to do something in the space, and they honored our vision, which was great.
Mm-hmm. And you guys have some incredible actors involved with this project. I mean, from Sanaa Lathan, Helen Hunt, Richard Dreyfuss. The list goes on and on. How have they taken to the project?
Yeah, we were so fortunate with this cast. I mean, there are no weak links at all with this group. And what's so almost astounding about it is that when everyone came aboard, they just had the pilot script. So they had no idea where their characters were going. Stephen Moyer, who plays Breland, he only had one line in the initial pilot script. Richard Dreyfuss had nothing in the initial pilot script. But they loved the script, and we talked to each of them about where their character was going, what we wanted to do with the show, what the vision of the show is. And they came aboard. It was a leap of faith for all of them, but they came aboard because they believed in our vision and wanted to be a part of it, and wanted to be a part of television that says something. And as all of them will say, you rarely get that opportunity to do work that can really matter, and that was important to all of them.
Right.
And this is a TV show for everybody. I think I was either watching an interview or something, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you're tired of the term black films. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, the issue is not. I mean, obviously, if you look at my work and Reggie's work, our work is all about putting people of color in movies and television. That is what our work is centered on. Those are the stories that we're telling. The issue is more with Hollywood and the way that they use that as a genre.
Right.
And in doing that, then they're able to make very few films with people of color. I mean, for us, when we make a movie, I label it as a genre.
Right.
12 Years a Slave is a period piece. Get Out is a horror film.
Right.
Moonlight is coming of age. Those are three different movies, three different genres, but Hollywood would say those are all black film, as if it's the same thing.
Right.
And it's not. So it's really about, we can start marketing our films as genre as opposed to, a black film, because it just limits their thinking. It doesn't limit our thinking. It limits Hollywood's thinking in the way that it's marketed and what kind of movies ultimately get greenlit.
Right. And speaking in regards to limiting things, it kind of brings us back to last week's discussion about the whole Pepsi campaign. Like when you look back at certain cases, like we said, Trayvon Martin, even Eric Garner, and all the other, because there were so many that it's like, it's hard to even choose one. But society tends to always look at minorities. Like, okay, well, this person got shot, and like with the Zimmerman case, what did this person have to do? Right away, they want to go and they want to start, kind of picking at the victim to say, well, let's go on their Facebook page and see what pictures they have up.
Right.
Oh, he had his middle finger up and this and that. They try to find any little thing to try to put the blame on the victim to say, well, this is why this happened. And then you go back, like we said, to limiting things, and you go back to this Pepsi campaign. I feel like we can already say that Reggie and Gina already won by having Fox, like you said, give them the green light to even have the show being, to be seen. But what are you guys hoping to gain from the show? Like we said, like from the show being seen, like with the Pepsi campaign, we kept saying it was like close but no cigar because the message wasn't fully delivered. So what do you guys hope to gain, and what do you hope that people will learn from Shots Fired? Just in general,
they're going to take from it.
Right, what they're going to take from it.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate the question. I mean, first of all, what's a little hard is like, well, first of all, what I would say I hope we gain is like I hope that people, first of all, watch the show before drawing conclusions.
Right.
Like watch it. It's like check it out, like and watch it. And as I mentioned, I started like in doing theater, and in doing theater, there was no ifs, ands, buts about it. It was really about raising consciousness and helping our people. And so when you do that, like in a theater, for like 50 people, 100 people, okay, that's great. But I have had an appetite to reach more of an audience. And so in reaching more of an audience, it doesn't occur to me that I should just now all of a sudden do superficial work. Like,
right.
I still want to challenge perspectives. I still want to entertain but challenge perspectives. We have a creed for Shots Fired, which is to get the audience at the edge of their seats, and while they're leaning forward, hit them with the truth.
Right.
So, like, that's where we're coming from. And, we hope, we have 10 hours. It's a 10-event series. And, we like to call this a 10-hour film, by the way. And so in our 10-hour narrative, it's not something where we're just venting. We had a process that we call Shots Fired University, where we met with tons of people. We met with Eric Holder, former Attorney General Eric Holder. We met with law enforcement people. We met with Wanda Johnson, mother of Oscar Grant, the young man who was killed in Northern California. They made Fruitvale Station about him. So we met with a lot of people, and we felt like there were just some specific points of view that need to be addressed. And so we hope that Shots Fired gives people insight, and we also hope that it points a way for improvement. What we don't want to do is kind of like tell you everything that we hope people get out of it, because then because then it's almost like, well, what's the point of the journey?
Right.
But clearly, while we want people to be invested in the characters and really, kind of dig the music that we're doing and dig the storytelling, we also just really want to, raise consciousness and give insight based on all the things that we've learned through our, research process.
And the university that Reg talked about, what was so important about that is, we're dealing with real subject matter that affects us very deeply, and it was very important to get it right. And so what that did is it grounded us in that responsibility, but also helped us with the authenticity. I mean, a story like this, you have to be authentic, and the only way to be authentic is to know what you're talking about. And so that's why it's vitally important for us to have that university and hear from people who have lived this.
One scene, and I think this was from yesterday, when the white law enforcement officer was riding with the black law enforcement officer or whatever, and I guess he was trying to prove a point, and he stopped the three white guys in the truck and searched them and whatever, and they like, what are we being stopped for, and everything. Kind of gave like I said, the reverse.
Right, the reverse of what's going on.
Yeah, the reverse universe. You know what I'm saying? The bizarre world. This the other side of things or whatever. And I guess he was trying to show the black law enforcement officer that it's not just your people. This is just what we do. And he was trying to prove a point. Why do you think that was significant to put into yesterday's episode?
Well, first of all, I would first think, honestly, say the first thing that's mainly significant, and obviously we can't control the way viewers watch. The most thing is it would be really great if people start from hour one. You know, like
Right.
people
Right.
can watch the pilot and see the progression, as opposed to kind of taking like a snapshot picture of like, hey, this this one moment and stuff. But so I would say like one of the aims of the series is to challenge people's perspectives, and even when you're writing a character that may have a point of view that you don't agree with or do agree with, whatever, you got to give voice to it,
Right.
because it makes the narrative better, and in bringing the issues to the forefront, it makes a better narrative. So yeah, this cop did something crazy and had his point of view, and the the black prosecutor who you're talking about, he had a different point of view, and so there are different. Good drama has conflict, so that cop didn't see things the same way the black prosecutor did, and that's part of the experience.
And just to let everybody know, me and my wife actually going to binge watch this. We set times aside in the week where we binge watch certain things.
Certain shows,
and
right?
Shots Fired is on the list for this week because I want to get caught up fully on it.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yes. Instead of reading about it, because I like how Reggie nicely corrected me. He said, no, it was the prosecutor. It wasn't law enforcement officer. But he got my point, though. He got my point. There's a question that was sent to us from a listener, Garrick Turner. And let me read the question. Pull it up. Put on my glasses. Okay. It says, do you feel that those who are pro-police are developing a better understanding for the positions taken by the Black Lives Matter movement and other community activist groups through this series?
Well, first of all, I would say this. I mean, I think that I personally feel that most people want law enforcement to do their jobs, and most of us respect law enforcement that does their job.
Right.
And we we need good police, and we can be supportive of police, but just because you're supportive of police doesn't mean that you cannot address and deal with the issue that there are issues with some police, the way that some police police in our communities,
Right.
And so, like, for me, it's not like a matter of like, okay, if you support police, you can't confront some of the issues that exist in the community. I mean, why is it one or the other? You know what I'm saying? So, you can be critical on the relationship that law enforcement has with police, or you can be critical on some of the training without making it like you're anti-police.
Right.
Right.
And so so that's like one of the divisions that happened. It's like, okay, so if you're supporting the fact that we want our black babies to be safe, that makes us anti-cop. That's not true. We're anti-bad policing. That's a totally different thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the fact that you can, as I said, you can have good police, and then you have, the video that just came out yesterday of a brother that is confronted for jaywalking and ends up getting slammed to the ground and pummeled. That's not good policing.
Right.
So what is, and that's on tape. So you can't deny that there is a problem there. So what we hope with the show is as the shoe's on the other foot, that people can see things from the other side and start to empathize and understand the other side. And when you can do that, you can start to change.
And seeing that was
but I will say, we were contacted by, some black police officers that felt that, shots fired could be helpful in some of the trainings of their colleagues.
Right.
And it was a real interesting discussion. So, to answer, the question directly, from your listener, look, we hope it does help, people understand, and to understand that you can still be pro cop and still be pro community.
I think one of the biggest issues.
We're really into being pro community as well.
Right. I think one of the biggest issues now. I mean, I'm sure I'm not alone when I say that one of the issue today is racism, that it still exists. So that's what makes it hard for us to be able to, well, when I say us, I mean, I'm using that term very loosely, to be able to see the other side. Because right away when you see a situation like the storyline for Shots Fired, where it's a black police officer who murdered a Caucasian person, right away, I think in the back of any racist person's, mind, it's, well, he's black. Like, almost like it's in our nature to just be quick with the trigger or to not think things through before doing something. But when it's the other way around, it's, well, the person deserved it because they're black. You get what I'm saying? So it's like once, until we get over this hump of racism, which is going to be it's a far cry. But I mean, I think, Shots Fired is one more thing towards being able to heal.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just sad that we have to get this far and to keep creating these shows and to keep creating these, these organizations and these groups and stuff just to get that point across.
The main brilliant thing about this great piece of work that's on Fox, Shots Fired, it's creating the dialogue.
Right.
We're talking about it.
And making you see it from different aspects, which is great.
Absolutely. As soon as we said, yeah, we're going to actually be interviewing the creators. No, not the actors, the creators. Yeah. Because that's who you really want to talk to. That's
the brain of it all.
What was in your mind to create such a piece like this? And I got one more question, if you guys don't mind, from a listener.
Yeah.
From what you can see, have white viewers been watching the show in significant numbers, and how have they reacted to it?
We haven't gotten a breakdown yet of who's watching. I do know. I walked into. I had a meeting yesterday, and it was all white folks, and they were all talking about the show. So that was kind of great.
Interesting.
So. And really invested in the characters and invested in the mothers and invested in Ash. So the fact that they can see themselves in these characters, that was exactly what we were hoping to see.
Yeah, I think, clearly, even though we don't have like a scientific breakdown at this point, I think that clearly, we can just tell through social media and such that, most of the people watching it are people of color,
right?
And that's all good, but and it makes sense to me, But yeah, certainly we need other people to watch it because we need to challenge a lot of people's points of view, and
absolutely.
And so we hope that we continue to build an audience and get as many people watching it. Again, one of the things that we're very cognizant of is, we have to do a show that's also, has a level of an entertainment factor, so it doesn't feel like, hey, like they're on the soapbox the whole time. You know?
Right.
And so that was, really great about having Sanaa Lathan, and this is like the first time that Gina and Sanaa teamed up 17 years ago, and they did Love and Basketball together.
Yes.
Yeah,
so in many ways, this has been a reunion for Gina and Sanaa, and just have like such an amazing cast. And so, I feel like, we've really, gone out of our way to really find the humanity in all of our actors, and I'm very happy that we have, a strong, black audience that's become very loyal and passionate about the show. But yes, we clearly, need to get other people watching to further the conversation and dialogue that we need.
Yeah, it's definitely an amazing cast, great writing, everything. But and let me ask you this, and just taking from the series itself, people are born inherently good, or are they born inherently bad?
So you took that from the there's definitely a question we ask.
Yes.
In Hour 5, and that's definitely a question that Ash's character proposes, and that was a question that we discussed during Shots Fired University with a woman named Francesca, who is a investigator for the DOJ and really the template for Ash. Everything that Ash went through, she went through. And she's the one that first said that to us, which was really surprising. But given everything that she's seen, I mean, she's seen the worst of people. She's seen true evil.
Right.
And she said, you know, when you're a kid, what happens? You have to be taught to be good. You have to be taught to share. You have to be taught you can't hit, you can't bite. You know, these things of having to be taught and go against your inherent nature. But you know, for me personally, I still want to live in the world that people are inherently good, because to not live in that would be a pretty scary place.
Right.
And Reggie, what's your take on that?
My take is that people are inherently good, but you know, there's a lot of bad people out there that, you know, maybe it's just, you know, taught by society. You know, there's a lot of bad out there, but I think that, you know, the thing that's like really interesting in like doing the show and like doing the research is that there are like certain things that people have in common. I mean, even I'll say quote unquote bad people like tend to love their families, you know,
Right.
tend to love their kids,
Right.
and so there are like some common things there, but. Yeah, you know, as Gina said, it was like really interesting because in our research process, this template for Sanaa's character, this real life template, felt like, man, people are inherently bad, and her counterpart, played by Stephan James, the prosecutor for
Right.
the Department of Justice. We didn't even get into the Department of Justice and what it's looking like now, but you know, the Department of Justice, you know, he feels people are inherently good. So it's actually like a really, you know, great thing to do as writers, to have, you know, our two leads, two African American people in law enforcement, you know, looking at the world through a different lens.
Right.
So, like you said, this is a film. You don't even view it like, you know, it's a series. It's
Right.
it's a 10-hour film.
Yeah.
The 10th hour. What are the viewers' emotions going to be? You know, like,
Oh man, come on, man.
look,
You know,
I'm trying to.
Finale.
Come on, man.
It's my
You gotta
job,
watch it.
Reggie. I'm sorry.
You got to try one.
Here's what I want though. But I mean, listen, I have to like say very seriously though, because it's really like great that, I mean, like we have some amazing actors. There's an actress named Aisha Hines that, you know, everybody's gonna know when this thing is over. If they don't know now, there are like so many just great, you know, Mac Wiles. A lot of people know him from The Wire.
Yeah.
And you know, he's in this. They're like such, you know, great actors. And one of the things that we do not want to do, man, like we don't want to do like this sort of like microwave TV where it's sort of like, oh, this is so easy. I know this, I know that. Like it's really like important to keep people on the edge of the seat because it's a mystery. So that's just like enjoying the mystery genre. But on the other side, you know, it's like we got to keep people guessing. I will say this: we're not going to, like, you know, we kind of hate when you see like a series or like a special TV event where you go all the way and then like you don't know, like the mystery isn't solved and they try to hold the cliffhanger to the next season.
Right.
Like that's not going to happen. Like
Okay.
you're going to
See, that was
know
gonna be my
why
next question.
one guy was killed and you're going to know who killed the other person. So that will be it. But I will say it'll be, you know, I mean, it was emotional writing a lot of this stuff, so there's going to be a lot of emotion on the screen, and I really do hope that you know, people can kind of go back and look on demand if they haven't DVR'd it on demand,
Right.
on Hulu, you know, find Shots Fired. Start with hours 1, 2, 3, and 4, and just get really, really caught up, because I think it's like a really enjoyable narrative. I think it's like very, very important.
See, that was going to be my next question. I was going to say, once this storyline is done, are you guys going to continue on with more of it? But now that you answered that question, what's next for you guys? Like, do you guys have something in the works already that may or may not be within the same context, or something just even more deeper?
Yeah. What is the Bythewood team doing?
Yeah.
next?
Yeah, what is
a
it
couple
by-
movies
Go
that
ahead.
we're working on now. So Reg's got a really great film based on a true story, and then I'll follow that with you know, what I think is a really great film as well. So,
Awesome.
yeah, going back to the big screen for a minute.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this question. My wife would kill me. We're thinking about entering into a business together. Just tell me, Gina, how is it working with your husband on these projects?
I mean, it's a really good thing because you know that through all the fighting that you have to do and fighting for your vision, and that there's somebody there that you're on the same page with and has your back.
Right.
So, I think as long as you guys are on the same page about what you're doing, I think it's a good thing.
Well, we just want to say you guys are doing some amazing work.
Yes.
I mean, I was just we ran the trailer before you guys called in, and we was just looking at just your filmography, and it's just incredible. It's incredible. We know we're going to see more great things from the Bythewood team, and we're definitely looking forward to it. And we thank you. We thank you for just sharing some of your views and your thoughts with us tonight on BKS1 Radio, the Storm Morning Show.
Oh wait, I have one more question. Reggie, you said you graduated from the High School of Performing Arts, LaGuardia?
Yeah.
Just want to say woo woo. I had to be corny for 2 seconds.
Okay.
LaGuardia, yes, yes, yes.
Yes, and before you leave, what should people be doing on Wednesday night?
On Wednesday nights, they gotta watch Shots Fired. Gotta watch it.
Yes.
Yeah, and brother and sister have a great weekend binging. Get caught up. I think it'll be worth it.
Definitely will.
I guarantee you, after this weekend, I'll know all the characters, the names, everything.
Everything.
All right.
We appreciate you guys so much. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Take care. Okay. God bless you.
Right,
and good luck.
God bless.
Good night.
Let's clap it up for the Bythewood team. Man.
You're listening to